Hello and welcome to the Business Show podcast here on Radio Newark 107.8 FM and of course now on DAB in Nottinghamshire and Lincolnshire. My name's Simon Gabitas, I'm one of your hosts and I'm joined by Mr. Michael Hardy, who clearly got the memo that it's summer because he's in his shorts. Michael, hello, how are you?
Hello Simon, it certainly is the spring, clocks forward, legs out.
Legs out.
We're ready for the summer.
For those listening on radio, legs are out. Michael, so we've got an action-packed show. We've got a couple of people joining us today as well. What is happening?
So today we're going to talk about last month's meeting. We're then going to have the Business Show Big Quiz, and you've got two people to help you.
I just figured that the more people I can bring, the more chance. I think we got 2 out of 3 last time.
To be honest, I think you're going to need both of them.
Okay.
We're then going to meet one of our patron sponsors, Steff, Wright. So we're delighted Steff's joining us. We've got a couple of grants to talk about, action group update, who gives a book, and then we've got Katie Gibson from our committee who's joining us. So,
excellent stuff.
And they're both here already, so good evening to you both.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Last month's meeting.
So the March meeting was sponsored by 1 Degree Training and Coaching. So we heard from Andy Nisevich. He gave us lots of hints and tips. We had the charity of the quarter. So we had 3 charities that presented to us. So we had Positively Empowered Kids, Framework and Children's Bereavement Centre. They all gave us a few minutes to tell us a bit more about who they are, what they do, and what they maybe need in their charities. The member spotlight, so we had 2 minutes from Lisa from Bright and Beautiful. And then it was the table networking and a few other updates and bits and pieces that happened along the way.
It was a busy old meeting as usual.
A busy meeting. There was lots of people there, lots of people that booked online as well, which is great, which is what we're trying to promote at the moment. But I think we had 80, 90 people in the room. So yeah, another busy meeting.
And it was great because I could be outside in the light, not quite warmth, but in the light.
Yeah,
my car parking.
We can definitely see a correlation, I think, with light and warmth and more people there.
Yes.
So yeah, hopefully we'll see even more people at the April meeting.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, let's get going with this month's Business Show Big Quiz.
Quiz already.
So, you've done the quiz before, have you?
Not very successfully.
Okay, brilliant. Katie?
Yeah, I was involved in it, but...
Okay. So, 3 questions, all business related. Ish.
Tedious link.
And an opportunity for Simon to remind us that he doesn't know what inflation is.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So 3 important questions this month even. The first one is April, which is the April meeting. April is going to be a pretty tough month because there are 8 different cost increases that are going to hit both businesses and personal through April. Can you name what the 8 costs that are going up are?
National insurance.
Yep.
National minimum wage.
Minimum wage.
Yep.
Capital gains tax.
Stamp duty, yep.
Stamp duty.
Is for business owners, dividend allowance going down, or the amount that you can take out before tax?
There are some changes to that, to business owners tax, yes. That's not on my list, but
okay.
You can have that one.
What about sick pay and things like that?
No.
The starting rate for NI as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's all part of the cost increase.
I think that was 2 points, that one, Steff.
I did try to squeeze that one.
Yeah.
So the others are probably more personal, but obviously if you're a business owner, it doesn't really matter. You're still going to get hit for it. And if you're an employee, you're going to get hit for them. So rather than silence on a radio, which is never good.
Never the best.
Even with my legs out. So water costs. Water's going to go up by an average of 26%.
Massive, isn't it?
Yeah, wow. Massive increase. Energy's going up, so once again, electric and gas, and that's based on obviously the cap, which is only for personal use. Businesses don't have any cap on what they can be charged. All your media is going to go up, so TV licenses is going up. Your broadband costs have changed their rules, so they can't do a percentage. They've now got to tell you how much in pounds and pence it's going to go up. So of course they're all taking a great advantage and rounding it up. So you're going to see quite a lot of increases on TV license, broadband, and sports paid for channels. Car tax is going up by between 2 and 5%. And council tax goes up by up to 5%. And all of these things are going to hit us in April, which is huge costs. If you look at all of those in isolation, one after another.
I mean, I'd like to say thank you for that information, Michael, but I'm not sure I'm very thankful. It is, as we've chatted about before, it's about being ready, isn't it, for these sort of things and planning ahead. So
yeah, absolutely. And it's not great news, but if we don't talk about it, if people don't know about it and the bills are going up very quickly, then you've not got the cash to cover your bills.
We had the really interesting chat when we had Michelle Allen, who's our treasurer, on, and again we very much talked about the idea of having that information to hand, using management information in your businesses and not being scared to talk about it, because actually it's going to hit you at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty important month this way to get yourselves right and make sure that your cost base is being managed.
Can you lend me a tenner, Michael?
Yeah, no
Thanks.
problem at all. Okay, question number 2. By what percentage did UK B Corps grow compared to the UK national average in 2024?
Interesting. Any B Corp owners out there?
Is this in terms of turnover?
Yeah.
25%?
And what did normal businesses, non-B Corps, grow by?
Was it 14?
18.
I mean, very, very good guesses. I'd struggle not to give you a point because it was 23% versus 16%.
Okay.
So the B Corps were
Ahead.
outperforming. Yeah, absolutely. 50%.
And the only reason I'd got an idea around that is because I was just doing some research, because we're just about to launch a B Corp football shirt.
Okay.
And our B Corp football shirt has got the names of 2,500 B Corps.
Wow.
All the UK B Corps are on the body of the shirt. And I just thought I'd do a bit of maths to try to work out what the cumulative turnover of all the B Corps was, and is it the most valuable football shirt in the whole of the football pyramid? And it turns out that if you add all the turnover of the B Corps together, it adds up to about 30 billion.
Okay.
Which probably makes it the most valuable shirt in the whole of football.
I like that. So is it going to be like a pinstripe, or how are you doing it? Is it all...
Yes, but across.
Across, okay.
Yeah.
In alphabetical order, every single B Corp, 2,500 B Corps, is on the shirt.
Very clever.
Once on the front, once on the back. So if they're hidden under a badge or something, then they'll definitely be seen.
Love it.
And then it says in big letters, supported by B Corps.
Okay. Very nice. Oh, I like that.
And you can read every business on there. So it's not so small that it's magnifying glass. You can actually find each business on there. So
They don't know they're on it yet.
Okay.
So then that gives us an opportunity, obviously, to promote what we're doing to the B
They
Corps.
might when this podcast goes
Yeah.
out, Steff.
They might do. But we're all mission aligned, you see.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've created a shirt of mission aligned businesses.
Nice.
So we'll see where we can take it.
No, that's fantastic. Nice.
yeah, so there you go. So B Corps, those that are focused on the future, sustainability, the environment and people, planet, etc., are the ones that are succeeding. So that's probably a message to take back from this, if nothing else.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Question number 3. How many phishing emails did Microsoft track in 2024?
Just for clarity, this is not emails about the sport of fishing.
No.
Okay.
PH phishing.
Okay. Wow.
I wouldn't even know where
Billions.
to. 1 trillion.
Not quite.
4 billion.
Somewhere in between.
27 billion.
30 billion.
Very good. 30 billion.
30 billion. Well, Katie, I think, is a specialist in email phishing.
Yeah. Yeah, she's done about 28 of them. 1,000 a second. I had to get my calculator out and count how many noughts in a billion to get this right, but 1,000 a second. Business data. This is people trying to get business data.
Wow.
And it in itself is a £7 trillion industry. And AI is actually making it worse because all the people who are trying to get your information are using AI. So Microsoft and the likes are using AI to try and counter it. So it's a bit of an AI war on who solves the puzzle first. But it just shows data security is so important. You don't think you've got information that's worth, but it's not always your information. In terms of it's the data you're holding of other people that can then be used against you or against other people.
I think we heard about that. Were you guys at the Economic Growth Conference this year? And they talked about it, didn't they? The cyber guys, and actually I think it was it one of the universities that had been hacked, and how very quickly it all happened. But actually, I think they were going with the route of actually making sure you've got a plan.
Yes.
As a business, that you've got a kind of backup and that you can actually, and they said, they never thought they'd actually have to put it into place, but as soon as they did, it very much, followed suit, and they managed to mitigate some of it, but it still cost them.
Incredible.
So have you got data security? Are you absolutely certain that your data's safe? And what happens if you do get hacked? Can you actually get your data back?
I think we should do maybe something at one of the next business club meetings and maybe get a cyber or IT specialist just to give us some hints and tips on how to protect your business.
Absolutely. It's a good idea. Great idea. So
make a note.
I don't know, we've been talking for probably 15 minutes, so 1,000 times 15 minutes, that's how many, 1,000 times 15 times 60 seconds, so just shows how quickly these things are flying around. So lots of information. Not all, it wasn't the funnest of quizzes, was it?
You've depressed us on all fronts here. Apart from the B Corp bit, everything else is pretty
the B Corp bit was really good stuff. Yeah, enjoyed that.
It was sandwich.
Yeah, it was the wrong type of sandwich, wasn't it? It was the wrong way round.
The bread's gone mouldy.
Filling was great.
Unfortunately, running a business is not always, sweetness and light. So, hey, that's where we are. Okay.
So that is actually, I think the first one we got a few, so there's probably half a point in that one.
You've done really well. This is probably as good a performance as you've done.
Well, I think the reality is that I'm just bringing friends in to help out, aren't we? So, we'll have the whole of the committee. The next one.
I'll make it harder, don't worry. Okay, so that's the quiz this month, and I hope that there's some information there that's relevant to your business, because that's what this is about, just getting you thinking and chatting about stuff that's going on. Okay, so our patron guest this month, he started Gusto in 1985.
Well, probably.
He's a deputy lieutenant for Nottinghamshire, and as you'll have heard from his football shirt reference, he's also the chairman of Newark and Sherwood United Football Club. So welcome, Steff Wright.
Hello.
Thank you. And that's the first time I've been introduced as a deputy lieutenant. Interesting. I had my commission the other day, and I had to go and receive it from the Lord Lieutenant in Nottingham, and was handed it. Which was interesting, and it says on there that His Majesty the King does not disapprove of my appointment.
Wow, okay.
That's how it's worded. Interesting.
That's great.
At some
great
point,
news.
he might disapprove.
Yes. Well,
so how does this work then, Steff? So in terms of the timing of this, is that your role for a certain period now, or?
No, technically, once you are a deputy lieutenant, you can remain a deputy lieutenant up to the age of 75.
Unless the King disapproves.
Unless he disapproves.
Okay.
Isn't that ageist? I thought we'd got away with ageist. I mean, 75? Why stop at 75?
I think at 75 you officially retire as a deputy lieutenant, but you can continue to do things afterwards. Yeah. And it was interesting. I bumped into Mitch Stevenson, who was a guy I've known for a long time, from Nottingham, and he was enjoying his 84th birthday, I think, and I found out that his birthday was on the same day as mine, which happened to be the day we were there at this event.
Oh, on Friday, right, yeah.
So you got that on your birthday?
So I got that on my birthday. Well, actually, I got it was on the 27th. It was the 28th of birthday.
Very nice.
Excellent.
So that's one of your roles. That's one hat.
That's one hat.
How many hats? Lots of hats.
Yeah, well, I suppose lots of hats, because I'm always interested in lots of different things. The theme that runs through it all is business, and I enjoy business. I suppose it's not it's it's the challenges and solving problems
Yep.
and making things happen is what I sort of drives me. It's not about making money. But businesses need to make money
Sure,
to be
yeah.
successful. So once a business is performing well, then you know it works. You know you've got the mechanics of the business right. Same with football. You know, when you're winning football matches, you know everything's going right. When you're not winning football matches, you know you need to tweak a few things. And fortunately, that's not my headache. That's the manager's headache. My headache is to make other things happen around the club. So, I'm interested in lots of different things and always have been, I suppose.
Is it about challenging the status quo? Because I think in a lot of things you get involved in, it's taking things in a slightly different direction or trying to elevate it.
Yeah, I think if my frustrations come from challenging business as usual and finding it quite hard sometimes to break through with new things.
Yep.
And especially when you can see that that's the sort of direction of travel for everything. It's a little bit like we're working on a project with you, Michael, on AI, demystifying AI. And AI is just going to change the world. I mean, it literally is going to change the world. It's changing the world already, but it's going to change it, beyond recognition. It's going to change people's businesses beyond recognition. And a lot of people haven't really woken up to that at all. And you still get people that almost give an opinion on it, and their opinion is, it's a load of rubbish. I'm not going to engage with it. It's not for me.
Yeah.
And these are people sometimes in business.
Yeah.
So, you've got to try to push and push and push sometimes when you know that the direction you're pushing in is the right direction. And it's the same on the stuff I do around climate. It's not going to go away. It's not a fashion. It's not something that's just here today and then tomorrow it's going to be something else that people are going to worry about. It's something that needs fundamental change. And I think when you spend your time working around solutions and working with people and that have solutions, I obviously have solutions in my small sectors that I operate in, mainly around housing and construction and a bit of manufacturing that we do with our Rototech business. But there's other people that have got solutions around almost every single problem that's out there, and these are really innovative people with great ideas and real ideas that could scale, but they're all pushing against business as usual, and business as usual is what's going to kill us.
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing out there is continuing business as usual when everything around you is moving in a direction. And that's unfortunately, and in some ways, and this is not me being sort of disrespectful to the lieutenancy and the system, our whole system of operation, it sits around respect and people doing as they're expected to do, and that's really, really important in lots of ways. But you've got to also find ways to change things, and if you don't change things, things become obsolete, and it's dangerous if things become obsolete when other things are changing very, very quickly. We've got to learn in this country how to, take the best out of what we've got as a country. So we've got, in some ways, we've got a fantastic heritage, and we've got fantastic systems, and we've got fantastic systems of government. Our systems of government and our law and everything in this country is very well honed, and that's the glue that holds us together. But we can't let that glue stop us seeing what's coming down the path and innovating to move forward, and that's what we need to do.
I think, I mean, you change, and change is something that in business in general, people talk about, change is important. You've got to get people on board with change, those that are pro change, those that are against it. And business as usual interchange is one of those things that we all talk about. And I was saying to you before we came on air about actually the negativity of the word change. And I was talking to or listening to the radio, and they were talking to a ex-coach of Ronaldo, Rennie Meulenstein, who was at Manchester United, and he says he doesn't use the word change with elite athletes. He said because the word change is a negative connotation.
Okay.
Because if you're an elite athlete, if you're good at something, change mentally tells you you're now not as good at it.
Okay.
So he talks about adding to your base. So he talked to Ronaldo about how does he want to be the best player in the world. So this was, when he was still at Manchester United, and he'd scored 20 goals, and he'd said to him, well, next season score 40. And he said, well, that's double what I did. And he said, yeah, but we're going to add goals to you, add skills to you. And he went and showed him videos of goals being scored by a whole array of Manchester United players. And he had to show it twice before Ronaldo realised that scoring goals wasn't all 30-yard free kicks, 25-yard screamers. Actually, scoring a goal in the 6-yard box with your backside was worth as much as the free kick from the edge of the box. And that's when he went from his 23, I think it was, up to 44. And from then his trajectory was. So that was adding something to his game, not changing his game. So I think one of the things, you sort of come away from that going, business as usual won't get you where you want to be. But talking about change could be detrimental in how people see it, because they think they've got a business that is surviving. They think they've got a business that is doing okay, and therefore change puts risk into it. So how do we add to your business? How do we take your business forward? Add a new skill that's going to develop. So maybe we've got to think about that how we pitch it, how we talk to people, what the language we use.
I mean, it's a nice anecdote, and you managed to get Manchester United in there as well, Michael. So,
well, I've been doing this for over a year, and I've not been able to. So and we're on a 7-game unbeaten run. So
right, that's enough Manchester United talk. But I guess kind of coming back to what some of the stuff you were talking about there, Steff, and we've talked about it before. There's still so much opportunity out there, and it's about embracing that technology, whether it's AI or other technologies. But utilising it within your business and seeing the opportunity. I mean, I went to a members' conference with the Employment Confederation last week, and they were talking about AI, they were talking about tech and all the stuff that it will do. And yes, it will replace some of the roles, but actually we need to work as human beings to mix that science and art together. And we've talked about the idea of blending it and making sure that you use the science, the technology, but the art, the human bit, that we still need the solution at the start from the human bit. Well, maybe helped with a bit of AI, but it's that blend and bringing it together. And if we do it right, continuous improvement, actually, yes, whether or not you see change as a good or positive word, if we can continuously improve it and look at other ways, then there will be opportunity. But it does mean that some roles are going to change. It does mean that some roles might be obsolete, like you say, and change. But we've got to embrace it, I think.
Yeah, and the people that will succeed out of this are the people that do embrace the new tool, because that's all it is. It's just a new tool that's arrived, and if we don't use that tool in the same way as if we didn't use electricity when electricity came along, then our businesses will be obsolete. So it's just grabbing hold of that tool and using it, but using it to do the right things. I think that's the important thing. And we've as a country, we've got so much heritage to build on, and as individual businesses, people understand their businesses, they understand what they do. It's just making sure they've got the new tools to enable that business to move forward. They understand the basics of the business, which is exactly what you're saying there, Michael. Actually, I think that's a really good point. I think I probably will be criticised by a lot of people about always wanting to change and always talking about change, and change does trigger a reaction from people who quite rightly can't understand why we need to change, or their mind doesn't think the same way as I do. So it's important that we build on the skills that we've got, and I think as a country we've got an opportunity to really build on the amazing structure that we've got as a country and the creative people that we've got in this country, because we've got to build on that to compete. The world is going to get very, very competitive. When you've got our friends over the other side of the pond, thinking that they can grab hold of Greenland and make some massive changes with the sort of global map, then we've got to not just hold on to their coattails and think that we've just got to follow America. What we've got to do is create our own vision for the future based on our values and the strengths that we've got in this country. And I suppose, becoming a deputy lieutenant, it opens up new conversations for me, which is interesting. So it's still the same thing. You're still having interesting conversations with people, and you're trying to help people work out solutions.
No, exciting times, and there'll be, I'm sure, new stuff that you'll find out from some of the other people that you're working with, and vice versa. So it'll be interesting to kind of keep in touch on that one and bring some of that information back, and maybe even the lieutenant over to the business club we talked about. I'm
sure that
maybe not the king, but
but that goes back to that network, working together and that different group of people that you're now engaged with, who will have different ideas, who will come along and maybe not change but add skills, add different thought processes that can broaden your own base, but also other people's from your experience. So working together and that network broadening it is how we all improve.
And we go back to the business club, and that's the strength of the business club is the network. It's all networks are so important, aren't they?
Yes,
indeed. And again, it's a thank you from us in terms of the patron bit. Obviously, you're on board still as a patron sponsor of the business club. You have been since we brought those patron sponsors into play. You're going to be chatting, I think, at one of the next couple of business club meetings. Or we're still tying that up, but again, it's always good to hear about some of the stuff that you're doing, some of the stuff, your vision, and some of the stuff that you're looking at for the future. So that'll be good.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, and thanks for coming along this evening and joining us for our little old business podcast.
Always a pleasure to see how professional you guys are.
As I start talking across you,
Steff, each other,
and helping me get one of the best scores on the quiz ever. So
Exactly.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Brilliant. Okay, next up, grants for the memories. Where do the grants come from?
Will Parkinson at Newark and Sherwood District Council.
Absolutely. If you're not sure what you are available for, then speak to Will, give him some details, and he'll run a report for you and help you find some grants. And I've got 2 this month. The first one is the Elevator of Dream campaign.
Wow.
The names are getting better. This program's all about enabling UK-based entrepreneurs to pitch their ideas to industry experts in return for feedback and potential funding. Short pitches will be made via video to Sir Richard Branson and Simon Squibb. A pitch will be selected every week to win £1,000. The programme is a collaboration between Help Bank UK and Virgin Startup. It's designed for individuals at different stages of business development who are seeking potential investment. The campaign closes on the 17th of April. More details available from Elevator of Dreams website.
Sounds interesting.
So
and we've talked about Simon Squibb as well before, haven't we? He's doing some interesting stuff at the moment.
Oh yeah, Simon's doing some amazing stuff, isn't he? He really is, and really just trying to encourage people to be entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Again, getting people to break out of this mindset, that we're born to work for these large corporations, where we need to release people's entrepreneurship.
I think we should do that. Maybe we can wander down Newark High Street, just asking people what their dream is, Steff. What's your dream?
Absolutely. What's your dream? And I met Simon about 3 years ago at a Ideas conference.
Okay.
And he had a good chat to him and linked up with him. And
his LinkedIn followers have increased since then.
And since then, my gosh, he's taken off. Really has taken off. But he's a real grafter, and he's got some great ideas and passion.
And he's bringing some passion out in other people. I think that's the whole point. Obviously, he's trying to get people to think about what they want to do, what's their dream, and trying to support them with that in whichever way he can. And obviously, with his social media engagement as well, he's getting other people involved and collaborating. So, interesting.
Good stuff. Second one is Bridge Innovation Exchange. So the UK registered organisations can apply for grants to fund AI projects tackling industry challenges in a variety of sectors. Operated by Innovate UK, the scheme is run by a variety of partners who can connect businesses with AI experts to help elevate AI leadership skills in the UK businesses. By linking businesses and AI experts, the scheme aims to drive UK-wide AI adoption to enhance efficiency, competitiveness and sustainability. 350,000 has been allocated to fund innovation projects in this competition, allowing project cost of successful applicants to be 100% funded. Funded projects must demonstrate productivity gains, ethical AI considerations and structured project planning. So feeds back into all what we've been talking about with AI in a grant from Innovate UK.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you again to Will Parkinson at NSDC for those. We will drop his details below because his email address is really hard to remember, but we'll put those details. And actually, as Michael said earlier on, there is a whole range of grants available. And if you're not sure, just get in touch with Will and the Economic Development team and they'll point you in the right direction for something that might work for you.
Yeah, and I know a lot of businesses have done that and have had opportunities, some successful, some not, but, it's all about how you can get some funding to help do things differently, to add skills, add skills to your business that will take you forward.
Excellent.
Bro, perfect. Okay. Next we've got who gives a book synopsis. Who gives a book synopsis. So what book did you give away last month, Simon?
We gave away, in fact, it was the chap that sponsored the meeting, Andy Nisevich. It was his recommendation. It was a book called Flourish by Martin Seligman. So that was one of his favourite books that he mentioned. I mean, he has got his own book, and I think we gave some of those away as well during the meeting, but this was one of his. So go and check it out, Flourish by Martin Seligman. Again, another development book, but something that he highly recommends.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much.
More books to give away this month.
I'm looking forward to it. Always a good part to the meeting.
Good stuff.
Action Group, quick update. So we had our monthly meeting in March. We covered a whole range of areas from traffic issues on Cartergate, with cars still using it as a bit of a rat run through the town, which is not very helpful or healthy, especially with pedestrians around. Contacted Keith Girling from County Council. Unfortunately, it's now moved to National Highways to decide whether or when they put the cameras and the piece in. So we're now waiting on that. So it's sort of gone a bit cold, shall we say, which isn't ideal. Boys are taking over Wilco's. So the old Wilco's site is going to be filled with boys. So they're moving from one side of town into a bigger unit, which is obviously great for that side of town. And hopefully boys can make that work and make it a thriving business in the town.
4 times the size, isn't it? So I think they've gone from 7,000 square metres to 30,000 square metres. So it allows them to bring in some of their other product range. And again, it takes over a big bit of kind of real estate in the centre of Newark. So it is a big space and it does feel empty a little bit. And they might open up more of that car park above it as well.
Absolutely. So, we also talked about banks. Obviously, we're seeing the banks closing in town.
Sure.
And obviously, that has an impact on certain demographic of our society who are still very much about cash. And therefore, we're working with the council about a banking hub, which is a cash hub. They're starting to open one up at the post office near Morrison's.
Okay.
The idea being that there'll be a bank representative from all the major banks who don't have a site in town 1 day a week. So if you do need to speak to somebody about putting cash in or about your bank, you can go and speak to them. So we're supporting the council on that drive, so we don't lose bank representation in the town. But we do believe that over the next 12 months, we'll probably end up with no banks in Newark.
Well, the NatWest is closing June, isn't it?
Yep.
Currently other conversations about other banks, but some beautiful buildings as well.
Absolutely.
That would make wonderful restaurants if anyone's listening that fancies opening a restaurant in one of those.
Maybe a pasta restaurant. Italian.
Yeah.
What's your favourite
Chicken.
pasta? Anybody's favourite pasta?
We're not putting anyone
forward. Moving on. Okay, next month's meeting, 28th of April.
Spaghetti.
There we go. I knew you'd have a favourite pasta.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
He likes to be.
And Kerry McGarrigle of this parish, she's going to come along and talk to us about the A46 bypass, because there's another milestone being passed. I think it's this week. So she'll come and update us on what's happening with that. And of course, we're all living with the current A46 roadworks for the southern bypass roundabout. So, which, you know, is ongoing challenges, but there we go. Only got 17 months left of that now. So,
Sounds good. Okay.
and that's us for the action group.
Plenty going on, isn't there?
There is plenty going on.
And so good to see that you know the way the business club works with the local authority. I think you know you go back to the beginning of the business club, and that connection wasn't there.
Yeah.
And it absolutely is there now, which is brilliant.
But it also sets us apart. I think when we've spoken to other people, I got to meet some people from Nottingham City Business Club at another social gathering a month ago, and we were talking about the idea of the action group, and they went, so you do, like, outside of your network, and you've got other stuff, and again, it's just something that other I guess it just changes a little bit. We're not just a networking group. We talked about this at one of the first patron dinners that we had, about some of the extracurricular stuff that we get up to, but you're right, that strong link that we've developed and now sustained with, again, it's, you know, everything from parish council to county council to district council, you know, and again, we've got Robert talking at one of the next meetings.
National government.
So Robert Jenrick's going to be over talking and giving us a couple of updates from their side as well. But it is those strong links that's really important, and it's those connections that we keep building on, really. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if everybody in Newark and Sherwood was working together for the same goal and connecting together, then you imagine what can happen where in terms of how we move forward.
Dangerous how brilliant it could be, Steff.
It absolutely dangerous how brilliant it could be. Whereas, you know, when you've got people that are not, when it's disjointed, and even worse, when people are sort of antagonistic to each other, then nothing moves forward. And unfortunately, you know, quite often in party politics, things don't move forward because there's too much infighting rather than people actually accepting that these people are now in power. We've made that decision. Now what we've got to do is we've all got to try to, for the next few years, get behind a vision and all sort of work together to move forward, and then we can all fall out again in a few years' time and decide who we next want to bring into power. So it's important that democracy holds people to account. But equally, it's important that people work together to try to move places forward. And as I was saying earlier, that's what I think we've got to do as a country. We've got to really come together and see if we can build on our strengths. And we should be doing that in Newark as well. You know, let's build on our strengths. Let's work together. And actually, we're quite close to doing it in terms of the relationships that are there with business and local authority, and we've got a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people that get into
and lots of good
politics.
stuff happening. And I think it's about shouting about that good stuff. Not everything's perfect, but we keep working on stuff. And I think these are some of the conversations, especially around maybe the town centre that we've had before, where, you know, there's misconceptions. You know, people often suddenly start blaming the council for high business rates when a business is shut down in the town, and actually, if you go and look into it, you'll find out they probably weren't paying business rates, or they were being subsidised, highly subsidised. And, you know, there is a huge number of businesses in the centre of Newark who don't pay business rates, and people don't know that, and it's having these conversations and kind of I suppose getting rid of some of those misconceptions that aren't quite right, but working together at some of the solutions. And, you know, residential in the middle of town, it's not for everybody, but actually you've got to see the benefits of what that's going to bring to Newark, and the potential of actually, you know, the nighttime economy that can bring. So it's having these conversations and keeping that going.
And as we move forward, because the district council, will not be around in its guise in the next 2 or 3 years, or maybe sooner, maybe slightly longer, but it won't be around because of the changes in what they're going to do with local authorities. It's even more important as a community, both business and non-business, working together to get the best for our town, because our voice will have to be stronger. And stronger together. I think that was a slogan of somebody in the past, and it's absolutely right.
I think wasn't that a political party?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
Anyway.
It was when there was Scottish independence thing.
Oh, okay.
So the Conservatives used stronger together to try and ward off the independence.
Ward off. Oh, well, I was going to mention Mayor Clare, but again, another connection that we've got, from the business club, and actually, continuing the relationship and finding out more about that. Obviously, Newark is a space that is talked about quite a lot from that perspective, from the devolution element. So it's continuing those conversations.
Absolutely. Okay. So now chance to meet our committee member, Katie Gibson. Hello, Katie.
Hello.
Come closer, we can't hear you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. Obviously, second time you've been on the podcast now, I think.
Yeah.
So I suppose in terms of a couple of bits, CBC, so your role, your day-to-day role, and then I guess the role that you do for us on the committee. So which one should we start with?
Start with the day job.
Day job. Tell us a bit more about what you do during usual days, normal days, if there's a normal day.
So I am in the fundraising and marketing team at the local charity Children's Bereavement Centre, and I work on the social media, marketing strategy, and then I'm also involved in events, which is a huge part of the fundraising that I do. And I actually do a very similar role within Newark Business Club. So
Headhunted.
I'm in the marketing group and the events group within the Newark Business Club committee.
We keep you busy, don't we? And events, you mentioned some of the events that are coming up, events that people might want to get involved in. So I guess in terms of, you've got a collaborative event that you do with Bowman House, haven't you?
Yeah, so actually all of our events now we co-host with other charities.
Okay.
So our first event that's coming up is the end of April, which is Newark Mayor's Trust, and that's our charity ball at Newark Showground. So that's the fourth year that we've done that, and we love working with them. It's really nice fit because they support young homelessness, and we support children and young people dealing with grief and loss. So it's really nice that people can come along, buy a ticket. All the proceeds are split 50-50 between the charities, and people know that they're supporting two really important causes in our local community.
And this time it's 1920s Gatsby.
Great Gatsby is the theme.
Michael, have you got your outfit ready?
No.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. Okay. You've got a while. So that's our first event of the summer, and then we co-host the Newark Duck Race on the River Trent. That's Sunday, the 22nd of June, and we work with Newark and District Round Table. And then we also have another event on the river, which people would probably be familiar with, Newark Dragon Boat Festival.
That's massive now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's in its sixth year. We have 36 teams that row on the river. Massive festival on Riverside Park. Yeah, it's grown and grown.
I think we've all been part of teams, haven't we?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
we all have.
Weren't you a drummer at one point, Steff?
I was a drummer, yes. We
you a good drummer?
picked up
Picked
the
up a trophy, yeah.
Yeah, we did one year.
Legitimately, or?
Legitimately.
Just checking. I mean, I picked up plenty of trophies, but they weren't mine. In fact, I picked up your cup trophy that you won, actually, but nothing to do with me. I've just got a great picture of me with it.
the Nottingham Senior Cup, which we're in the final against.
In the final again.
6th of May at Mansfield Town. Sorry to
big one. Okay.
Yeah, so that's an exciting evening.
Is that an
for the club.
exclusive?
No, it's we
haven't really promoted it yet. We've only just found out that it's at Mansfield. So we're just talking at the moment about doing some corporate stuff and some pre-match meal, and we can look at getting some coaches on. And
fantastic.
So watch this space over the next couple of weeks.
And a nice little link to Mansfield Town, because you did your event at Mansfield Town as well a month ago.
Yeah, they support us as a charity, and we were able to go and collect with buckets us at the Lincoln City game.
Weren't allowed to shake them though.
Oh, brilliant.
No,
So
you're not allowed to
I
shake.
took the kids down, and Mr. Gabitas Senior, he was great at collecting money, wasn't he?
He was
Far better than me. I think
brilliant
I just
volunteer, yeah.
felt sorry for him, but no, he walked around, and the problem was, I assumed that we'd be able to walk around with these money shaking tins, and they've said, no, you can't shake them. You're not allowed to shake them anymore. So you have to kind of go up and just smile at people and hover this.
What's the reason for not shaking?
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's some rule to do with charities. I don't know.
Fundraising
But
regulator,
A few years ago, they took the shaking of the tin away.
yeah,
They said it was.
didn't say anything about playing shaking noises on Spotify. No, anyway. But it was really strange because I just thought, well, I can go out there and just,
Yeah, no.
and you've kind of just got to walk around and smile at people and just put your. We raised some money though. You raised £300, match funded, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was match funded. Yeah, with a local bank.
It was freezing. It was so cold.
It was nil. I think it was -2 that
So
night.
by the time that you guys play your final there, hopefully it'll be a bit warmer for the players' sake as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So other events, anything else to shout about?
Obviously, Newark Business Club is going to have a summer event.
Oh, yes.
Also working on, not within my day job time, so that we at Newark Showground hopefully mid-July. More details to follow. The first year we did that was last year, and we held it at YMCA, and we had a barbecue, speaker, music. Really good event, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, we had Luch, the mentalist, magician, mind reader, not magician, mind reader, mentalist, and that was great. I think the idea this year is we really want to again collaborate. So we've got Robert and the team over at Lincoln Business Club that are keen to join in, Andrew and the team at Grantham Business Club. And we just want to turn it into a big event. And we said Newark Showground is kind of sat in the middle of all three spaces.
Brilliant.
If we can invite Mansfield or Nottingham and other people from there, great. But let's use this as a really interesting opportunity to network, meet some new people, have a bit of a social. Fingers crossed that it's sunny and we can all have a barbecue.
Sounds like a good plan.
Certainly does. Certainly does.
So, I suppose in terms of the committee stuff as well, big thank you from our side in terms of everything you do. As you mentioned, you are on every group, the main committee group, the events group, like I say, and then the marketing group as well. Marketing, we had a meeting earlier on today actually, and we were talking about the new website. So again, we're going through the process for that at the moment, and we're coming down to just deciding who we go with as a supplier. But again, we had some really good uptake on that, some collaborative proposals that came forward utilising different members of the business club. So stay tuned, but we will be making some decisions and moving that forward, and we'll have a shiny new website for the business club soon.
Excellent.
Very exciting, yeah.
How exciting. Well, Katie, thank you very much for everything you do for the business club. It is appreciated. And thanks for joining us this evening as well.
Thanks for having me.
Katie, can I ask you one question?
Of course.
With all the depression that Michael fed us with earlier, that's coming through next month, how does that affect the charity sector? Because life's quite tough out there, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Is it tough for you guys?
Yeah, it's tough. Not from just a fundraising, funding, grants are harder, the criteria is tougher, there's more charities pitching, for those pots of money, and we're a service-led charity, so a lot of the grants that we apply for, we're not maybe eligible for now because they want like a tangible project that they can, get involved in as a trust or whatever, and obviously, as Michael's said, the 8 costs that are going up, that's going to affect our, building, our rent and everything, our overheads, and with the combination of it being tougher to fundraise, it's a challenge.
It's double-edged, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the costs are going up and potentially the income's going down, or at least staying the same. It's certainly difficult to raise it.
For me, the challenge is in marketing actually, because we have to raise our profile for fundraising, And I must say, actually, local businesses and local community are incredibly supportive of the charity. So, we are very much wanting to collaborate with businesses, and we've got, I think, 5 or 6 Charity of the Year partnerships this year, which is amazing. So it means that we can work with them, and, in turn that ups our profile for fundraising, but then that means our referral rate also increases. So, demand for the service is higher than ever. All of our services are completely free of charge, and we offer different services like peer support groups on a Saturday now because the demand for the service is so high. It's a real balance to get.
It's tough for everybody.
It is.
But what you've said there is right. You've just got to find a way to up your game, haven't you? You've just got to put more in to try to keep moving forward.
Yeah, and I think it's about working together, and that's exactly what you said, stronger together. And, gone are the days where businesses just want to give you, a few grand because they've got some profit. Then they want, see you working together with businesses to provide CSR days, and, you really need to work together and, know that there's something in it for them.
And I guess that's why you're coming up with lots of different events. So I think one of the other events that you didn't mention was the music. You're doing something at the Palace Theatre, aren't you?
Yeah, so the last few years, the Nottingham Symphonic Wind Orchestra have supported us as their charity. I think we're in the 4th year, actually, of them doing a concert for us. They usually take over Newark Town Hall. They love coming over to Newark and performing. And it's normally been at Christmas, but the capacity of the town hall is about 85, and this year, amazingly, we've been able to get a date at the Palace Theatre, so we've got 600 tickets. Wow. It's going to be on Saturday the 17th of May, and they're doing a music at the movies evening, so they're going to be featuring iconic songs from Star Wars, Jurassic Park, and again, nearly 80% of the proceeds will be donated to the charity.
Wow.
But again, it's just working together. Our involvement is to sell tickets, promote them as a band, and
Cool.
And I guess it's, like I say, trying to come up with different events that match different people's requirements and needs. No, that's great. Brill. Well, thank you again, Katie. Thank you for everything you do for the Business Club as well. What's happening next, Michael?
Next month's meeting. So what delights? Who's sponsoring us?
No one's sponsoring us. It's the AGM, Michael. So in fact, there's a couple of things to mention. One is that I will have been chairman of Newark Business Club for 2 years. I definitely wasn't looking for a clap, but I should have taken a picture of that. That was great.
There was a pause there, definitely wasn't there?
I was just taking it in. That was great. And I have confirmed, obviously, to the committee already that I will stay on for another year as chair. But it is probably worth mentioning that we will, the year after, be looking for a new chair of the Business Club. So, if there's people listening to this that are interested in what we do, whether it be, the breakfast meetings, the action group, if you want to find out more, come and have a chat with us. Again, we'd actively encourage anyone that's interested in this role to be part of our committee. So it might be, worth chatting to us if it is something that you see yourself doing in the future. And we obviously can give the time around that to support the transition. It is a year away, but we do need to start thinking about these things. But this month will be the AGM. So we've not got a sponsor, we've got a few updates. So we're going to have the Treasurer's update. So Michelle's going to be giving us a bit of an update on the finances, what's happening this year. So again, a few of the bits and pieces that we'll be spending money on and what the plans are. We've got the action group update that you'll be giving us. I'll be doing a chairman's update, doing a bit of a look back over the last 12 months. What have we achieved? What are we planning again for this next year? So stuff like the summer event. Obviously last year was the first time we did a summer event. We want to make it bigger, better this year. We can talk in a bit more detail about stuff like the website and what we're doing and some of the bells and whistles and extra stuff that we're trying to put into that. I was thinking actually the other day as we were looking at some of the things that we have added in, I think it was only about 6 or 7 years ago that we added in the ability to pay via a card. Yeah. For the Business Club. And I look back because actually I remember me, Malcolm, probably Michelle, because it used to be £7 and we used to have, Malcolm used to drag this massive bag of pound coins in and we used to line up the £3 change because everyone came up with most people, some people came with 2p's and 1p's and count those out. But I mean, yeah, it was only 6-7 years ago that we started, and now there's no cash. We're cashless in terms of that process. But yeah, there's lots of stuff that we've added in, lots of stuff that we want to add in over the future. But in terms of the meeting, we're going to have a couple of round the table networking sessions, so a good time to meet new people. And what has been noticeable is the amount of new people in the room. Yeah. Lots of return visitors, which is great. People are seeing the engagement there. We've heard some good anecdotes from people that have kind of gone in, had a warm welcome, met some people, and have continued and are going to networking sessions in Grantham and Lincoln as well now. We're going to do the Who Gives a Book, give another book away. The member spotlight, so the new thing that we added in where someone in the room gets 2 minutes to talk about their business. That's going to be Charlotte from the Health Barn at Hockerton. So we're going to hear from her, and then of course we'll pick out the next person on the member spotlight. So yeah, lots going on.
Busy meeting.
Busy meeting. And it's worth noting that I think now, meeting sponsorship wise, we've only got 2 or 3 slots left this year.
Yep.
So if you are interested, come and have a chat with us. You get 15 minutes to talk, lots of social media promotion before, after the meeting as well. So come and have a chat with us if you're interested in sponsoring a meeting.
Fantastic. Well, that's it.
We do need. No, I was just going to say that the guy that helps us put all of this together, Mr. Phil Johnson from Radio Newark, who was described as the king of Radio Newark, or actually the prince of radio in its entirety, he turned 50 last week, so we have to say happy birthday to Phil. So happy birthday, Phil.
Big 5-0.
Big 5-0.
Yeah, 50's the new 30. Don't worry about it, Phil.
Love it. So now you can actually wrap up, Michael.
So can I wrap up? Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for another interesting, obviously, I've obviously lowered the tone and depressed everybody. That's not what we're trying to do. But Steff, thanks for coming along.
Thank you very much.
Good insight.
Yep, pleasure. Always enjoy it.
Katie, as ever, good to see you. Thanks for being part of it. Just want to leave you with my thought for the month. AI will have as great an impact on humans as the discovery of fire and electricity.
Wow.
The CEO of Google said that. And that is my drop the mic.
Drop the mic. Mike has dropped the mic. There we are, everybody. Mike has dropped the mic. There is the thought of the month. That is our business show podcast done for this month. Thank you very much. See you next month.
See you next month.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.